Hey folks, so this is the 6th and the final video for section 7.3. Most of my sections don't have quite so many videos in them, but it was easier to just break these up into a bunch of little ones. Go all the way down to the verify the identity example that we have. Remember, when we are verifying the identity, it's always good to give a reason for every step that you write down. All right, so what we have here is, notice we've got the tangent of a sum. We also have the tangent of a difference. So I'm going to use the sum identity on this one, and I'm going to use the difference identity on this one. So the very first one is, let's use the sum identity. And let me get rid of some of these values here. Well, I'll talk you through those here in just a minute. All right, so this is my tan plus tan all over 1 minus tan tan. And then let's do the same thing for the second term here. And once again, I'll get rid of some of those things that I've crossed out prematurely. We'll walk through those. Okay, so notice that I've said here, this is just my tangent, sum, and difference identity. Now, we've got tangent of pi over 4. Its value, if you go to the unit circle, its value is 1. So that's why that was crossed out to give a 1. Every time I see the tangent of pi over 4, I can substitute with a 1. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do is let's just simplify what's left over. I have two separate fractions. And so the first fraction is going to be 1 plus tan t all over 1 minus tan t. The second fraction is going to be 1 minus tan t all over 1 plus tan t. Notice that my denominators are not common denominators, so I need to get a common denominator. So my common denominator is going to be this denominator times this denominator, 1 minus tan t times 1 plus tan t. And so in order to do that, I need to multiply by a 1 on this fraction, and I need to multiply by a 1 on this fraction. Now you'll notice that when I multiply, my denominator here matches my denominator here. So I now have a common denominator. And I'll have to FOIL my numerators. All right, so the first thing I want you to notice, let me zoom in a little bit here, and I'll get rid of those things crossed out so that you can read them better. Notice that I have my common denominator, 1 minus tan times 1 plus tan. For what's in purple, this is foiling these two numerators. And what's in red, I foiled these two numerators. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine like terms. And so with combining like terms, that's what you saw was canceled out there. I have a positive 2 tan and a negative 2 tan. And then I'm going to also combine like terms. I can combine my 1 here and my positive 1 here. I can also combine my tan squareds. A tan squared plus a tan squared is going to be a 2 tan squared. So let me unhide that. So my 2 1s gave me a 2, and my 2 tan squareds gave me 2 tan squared. All right, so, and then the last thing I did was notice that I multiplied, I foiled on the bottom, and when I foiled on the bottom, I got 1 minus tan squared. All right, so now what I did was let's get a greatest common factor and let's factor that out. And so my greatest common factor is 2. So we'll factor that out. So we have 2 times the quantity 1 plus tan squared all over 1 minus tan squared. If I use my Pythagorean identities, this one up here is the same thing as secant squared. Now, before I go any further, let's remind ourselves where we're trying to get to. We want a 2 times secant squared on top. We want 1 minus tan squared on bottom. The bottom already matches. I don't want to mess with this at all. I already have the 2. I don't want to mess with that too. But my 1 plus tan squared, if I can turn it into a secant squared, then everything will match. So that's the last step, is simply to use my Pythagorean identity. And now the two sides match each other. All right, so that is the final video for section 7.3. As always, if you have questions, please let me know. If you find mistakes in my videos, let me know that as well.